The legend of the NBA has always been built on mythic figures, players who weren't just stars, but forces of nature, redefining the very game around them. Over the last decade, 3 names have been etched into that rarefied air of being. Called generational, Zion Williamson, whose gravity-defying dunks and raw power made him look like a human highlight reel come to life. Victor Wembanyama, the towering alien-like prospect whose wingspan and skill set had scouts calling him a basketball revolution in human form. And before them, whispers of Luka Dončić, who at the same age may have been better than them all. Yet even Luka, already a seasoned pro by his teenage years, wasn't draped with the same overwhelming hysteria that now surrounds a boy who has barely reached his teenage years. His name is Muhammad Daboni, and if the experts are right, he could be more than a generational talent. He could be the greatest prospect basketball has ever seen. It almost sounds absurd to even say out loud. Daboni isn't gearing up for college, recruitment. He isn't preparing for high school stardom in the US. He was born in 2011. That means he isn't eligible for the NBA draft until the year 2030. Think about that for a second. Kyrie Irving went number 1 overall in 2011. Muhammad Daboni was born that year, and now, at the mere age of 13, he already has scouts wondering whether he might someday eclipse every so-called generational player who came before him. 6'10" and still growing, Daboni towers over his peers with a frame and skill set that simply shouldn't belong to a boy who technically should still be in middle school. Watching him move feels disorienting. His coordination, his fluidity, the way he glides across the floor, it's as if someone hit fast forward on the developmental timeline of a prodigy. One moment he's flying in for a dunk, the next he's swatting shots with the timing of a seasoned rim protector, then casually stepping back and draining a jumper like a wing. The comparisons to Giannis Antetokounmpo and Wembanyama aren't lazy hype. They are legitimate reflections of what scouts are seeing with their own eyes. And he isn't just some YouTube mixtape sensation putting up highlight reel dunks against undersized kids. Daboni has been competing far above his age group since he was 11 years old, and he isn't just holding his own, he's dominating. He first went viral in 2023 at an under-15 tournament in Spain, where his Barcelona squad faced powerhouse Real Madrid. Luka Dončić himself once wore those Madrid colors in his youth, but age, reputation, experience, none of that mattered when Daboni stepped on the floor. He was just 11, facing players 3 and 4 years older, and he walked away with the MVP trophy, averaging 25 points, 14 rebounds, and 6 blocks in the final. It wasn't simply that he was good for his age. He was the best player in the tournament, period. That dominance carried forward. By 12, Daboni was playing in the EuroLeague Next Generation Tournament, the under-18 proving ground for Europe's elite. These weren't kids anymore. These were battle-tested teenagers, many of whom were already projected as NBA draft picks. Yet the youngest player on the floor was also the most electrifying. In one game against Alba Berlin, Daboni posted 21 points, 6 rebounds, and 2 blocks in just 12 minutes of action, shooting an eye-popping 85% from the field. Pace that out to starters' minutes, and the numbers are beyond comprehension. A 12-year-old on pace for 63 points, 18 rebounds, and 6 blocks against some of the best teenage players in the world. And it wasn't a fluke against Overtime. Elite, a program famous for grooming NBA stars like the Thompson twins and Alex Sarr. Daboni again impressed, scoring efficiently, blocking shots, and holding his own against America's best high school talent. Against Barcelona's fiercest rival, Real Madrid, he logged valuable minutes against players projected to be NBA lottery picks. In each matchup, whether shining on the stat sheet or playing limited minutes to protect his growing body, the takeaway was the same. This was not just another prospect. This was something the sport had never seen before. Barcelona, mindful of the dangers of overexposure, has been careful with Daboni's development. The club knows the horror stories. Ansu Fati in football, Ricky Rubio in basketball. Prodigies who turned professional as teenagers only to see their careers cut down by injuries before they even peaked. Daboni is too valuable, too rare to be burned out by overuse, so his minutes are carefully rationed, his appearances are monitored, but every time he steps on the floor, he validates the hype. During the 2024-25 season, still just weeks away from his 13th birthday, Daboni torched Real Madrid again, claiming MVP honors in another youth championship. Soon after, Barcelona promoted him to their under-19 squad, a leap of nearly 7 years in age difference. Imagine a middle schooler in America stepping on the floor against Cooper Flagg, the top high school player in the country. That is what Daboni faced, and he didn't just survive, he excelled. Double-doubles, efficient scoring, elite rebounding. He was no longer the little kid punching above his weight. He was simply one of the best players on the floor. By the spring of 2025, Daboni's name was already listed on Barcelona's official EuroLeague roster. That meant only one thing: the countdown had begun. In Europe, unlike the NBA, there's no minimum age to turn professional. If you're good enough, you're old enough. Ricky Rubio made his professional debut at 14 years and 11 months. Victor Wembanyama first suited up at 15. Daboni is expected to shatter those records, making his debut with Barcelona's senior team before he even turns 14. If that happens, he will officially be the youngest professional player in modern basketball history. The challenge is almost surreal. Barcelona's senior squad isn't some developmental afterthought, it's a powerhouse. The club competes in Spain's ACB League, widely considered the strongest domestic competition in the world outside the NBA. They go toe-to-toe with Europe's best in the EuroLeague, regularly producing NBA talent and occasionally beating NBA teams in preseason exhibitions. The roster features former NBA players like Jabari Parker and Willy Hernan Gomez, as well as European veterans who would dominate most college programs in the US. And into this world of grown men, Muhammad Daboni, a boy barely in his teens, is about to walk. It's difficult to even project what Daboni will become because prospects like him don't exist. At 6'10", he's already blessed with elite mobility, coordination, and bounce. He blocks shots like a natural rim protector, but also slides his feet like a wing defender, switching onto guards without missing a beat. He dunks with fury, catches lobs like a human trampoline, and already flashes a soft shooting touch that projects far beyond his years. His free throw percentages suggest that his jump shot will only improve, and when combined with his athleticism, that's a terrifying prospect. He is, in the simplest terms, built like a superstar before even becoming a teenager. And yet, the hype comes with controversy. In Europe, especially when prodigies emerge from Africa, the question of age is always lurking. Daboni was reportedly born in Burkina Faso in 2011, yet some records list him as a 16-year-old from Togo. Skeptics argue that his advanced development is simply too much for his listed age. They whisper about forged documents and birth certificate mix-ups. They compare him to cases in European soccer where players were later discovered to be years older than initially claimed. Spanish media outlets aligned with Real Madrid, Barcelona's eternal rival, have fanned those flames, just as they did with another Barcelona prodigy, Lamine Yamal. But here's the truth: even if those skeptics were right, it wouldn't really change the story. If Daboni were 16 instead of 13, he would still be the best prospect in Europe, still one of the most tantalizing young players in the world, still a potential #1 pick in any draft he entered. The only thing that changes is perception. Whether we are witnessing the greatest 13-year-old the game has ever seen, or simply an extraordinary 16-year-old destined for NBA stardom. Either way, Muhammad Daboni is the name on everyone's lips, so the question becomes, what will he be? Will he be another Zion, a comet that burned too bright, too fast? Will he be another Wembanyama, a figure who redefined basketball simply by stepping on the floor? Or will he be something more, the prospect that transcends even the concept of generational? Right now, we don't have the answer. What we do have is the beginning of a story unlike any other. A boy born in 2011, standing on the precipice of professional basketball before most kids his age have even hit their growth spurts. A prodigy who has already conquered youth leagues, stared down older competition, and left scouts searching for words to describe what they've just witnessed. The future of basketball may already be here. His name is Muhammad Daboni, and whether you believe the hype or not, whether you trust the birth certificate or question it, whether you think it's too early to crown him or not, one thing is undeniable: the world is watching.